Wow, look at that. So smooth. Incredible. Well done.
Thank you. It's my 5 a.m. brain.
Well done, Riley. Good morning.
Good evening. It's 9 p.m.
Yeah, 9 p.m., 5 a.m. Truly, this is worldwide Puyo.
Yeah, I'm used to it. West Coast hours. How are y'all? I got to watch. What's it called? I went back and did watch a bit of your tail end conversation with Tom, but I did not get to watch the commentary terminology.
Gotcha. I understand.
But
Yeah.
I did draw up some stuff actually.
Yes, I think Riley has some questions or comments for you, Tom.
Okay.
Oh, that's sad. I actually just deleted one on accident. Oops.
No. Control Z.
I controlled Z, but didn't load up my example, so I have to recreate it like really quick because how do I describe this? So, like, I'm trying to remember how I do this while also thinking about it because I asked some questions about, I guess, tail forms after watching Yoshi. Let me share my screen so I can actually show what I drew.
Sure.
Yeah,
so, by the way, I'm so interested in the terminology. So, I've been asking some questions like what do we say in English about these words? So because I wanted to define the each shape or each thing because in past 30 years I defined many things in Japanese. It helped a lot to develop the understanding of things. I'm not sure it's related to today's topic, but that's why I asked a lot of things. Asked so many things about the vocabulary, or what do we call this? Consider that.
Thanks, Tom. Actually, I have two questions.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that today's topic, but yeah. So I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too because I listened to the Sega event commentary and I thought it was much better the recent one compared to the older ones. I thought it was a bit easier for players who did play to understand. I just not sure for newer players. So
I did notice some of the new language was implemented by Tom, so you did well with the thingy vocabulary, Tom, in the recent stream, in the Sega tournament. So it was great to listen to that.
Sure. So, to my understanding, if to define something is really important to think about it. We have to the common understanding about one thing. So it's about the Japanese things. So when talking about something, we need the word precisely describe the situation, phenomenon, the shape or something. So it's one of my policy, but it is from my experience over 30 years Puyo experience. So it's my key thing. Right. So but it's kind of my policy. So something sorry for asking you so many times. Oh, what do we call? What do we call?
I think it's fine. Like English is like the one thing I hate about English is that we don't really have a lot of good terms like that. So much of English is learning how to use adjectives and like run-on sentences that just don't end because we don't have a word for it, or our word turns into like 3 words to describe the situation, and that is the word. Like,
Yeah, I agree. And the difficult thing is sometimes it's affected by the language characteristic or even by the culture. So I mean, some people want to define this, but other people don't want to do so much. So something like happen sometimes. Yeah. So it's really depending on the situation, language, culture, the level of advancing, and anything. So I'm so careful about it. So I don't want to force them to define the things. I don't want to force them to do anything. So it's also my policy. So so just asking, what should I go or something.
that's the difficult part because even in English, it kind of is, I'd say, almost reliant on the commentators to come up with definitions, which is why English has different commentary terms between the US and the UK.
Different.
So some forms, like I think in the US we call it sandwich, were very simple. I think it's called key in Japan.
Oh, key is funny because it's a mistranslation, so some people use that, but it's not actually officially used by anyone anymore, I think.
It still gets used sometimes, like this form, like what people will either call key or sandwich, but it
then-
depends on like the region
Then
of
French
English.
people call it crosscut, and we're like, whoa, so many different names.
What?
Crosscut,
Crosscut?
I think. Yes, I heard Hiku use it a long time ago, and then he was like, oh, you call that sandwich? Okay, I will call it sandwich.
Okay. Okay. And in by the way, in Japanese it's hook.
Yeah.
Not a key. Key is misunderstood by some people 10 or 20 years ago, but initially 30 years ago this is invented as a hook. So a hook and key is the both kagi in Japanese language. So it is so confusing some people. So some people are misunderstanding. It's a key. Oh no, it's a hook originally.
Yeah, and that's like I think the hard part about English, because so much of it is either direct translation or we have slang. Like, let me see if I can draw it real quick, because there's an extension on GTR that I think this is technically not GTR. I think it's a different form, but because we didn't have a term for it, I think we just call, like, this in particular is been called Sussy GTR because it's bad.
What? Sorry,
Or
what?
considered bad. Yeah, it's called Sussy, which is like short slang for suspicious, which is usually done when something does not look good.
Okay. So what's this name again? What's this name?
Maybe type
Sometimes
it
it is
out.
called. Yeah, I'll type it out in English, and then what we would probably usually call it. So like slang.
Okay. So it's no definition about this in Japanese because Japanese people hate this shape. This shape, this shape has no advantage compared to the normal GTR. You know, the column 1 is the deep than column 2. That is the huge disadvantage about the transition. So Japanese people hate this shape and don't define this.
Maybe they should define it as
Right.
like Hedna GTR.
Sassy GTR. Okay.
Yeah.
Sassy.
I bring this
Okay.
up because we hate this too, but because we don't have a form name, it becomes slang in English.
Yeah,
And
it's very. I think it's very good. So it depends on the Japanese people don't like this and don't use this, but some other people in overseas use this like Dan prefer this. Then he named this shape. It's really good thing. So I mean that's depends on the language or depends on the people region. So and then we Japanese can the how can I say the import the import. I'm not sure about the English term. The import from the overseas region to Japan again. So it's the Gimon GTR. Gimon means the suspicious. Gimon GTR. It's invented by the US player. So it's interesting. It's Gimon GTR. Okay.
That's great, Tom.
It's just really funny because okay, actually, there's a term I do want to know if you have, because on English, I call it like I guess a raised tail, where the tail kind of starts not on like the first layer, but on the upper parts.
Oh, that's just Tsurukame. Hold on.
It is like
It's that one that Fenno likes to do because he took the pepperoni peel. Tsurukame.
It's basically called Tsukame, so it's crane turtle. So the Tsukame is named so because the left part is tsuru means tsuru, which means crane, and right above right top area is called kame, which means the turtle. So crane to turtle jumped. So crane jumped into turtle. So it's called Tsurukame. It's named 25 years ago by Kame3.
Oh, by chemistry. Wow.
that's good to know, because I was very curious. I always call these like raised or indirect tails because I've never really had a name for it. So like people will understand like I guess the difference between this and a more basic GTR where it kind of just starts on that first row. Because we don't really see like these kind of raised tail shapes where they start on that third or fourth. I think they're also kind of rare in Japan, from what I can tell.
I understand. So no name for it at the moment. So I said Tsurukame crane turtle which means only the concept of the so in this image the tsuru is the green and the surrounding area left bottom, and the kame means the red light top red and the surrounding area, and tsurukame is the concept of jumping into the higher area from the bottom area. So it's just a concept. So it's not the shape name. So there is no name, no definition about this shape. Like it's like it's included in yayoi, and it's kind of the raised new GTR or something. So but it's too derivative from those normal shapes. So it's at the moment it's not named yet.
I think actually
Okay,
what
that's interesting.
Riley is getting at with raised or indirect tailing is like, is it the exact same concept, Riley? Like, if the tail starts just anywhere higher, then you would call it raised or indirect tail.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if I should just keep calling this just a tail or if I should specify that it is indirect, like it starts untraditionally compared to like what people would usually see.
For commentary purpose or like, what do you
For
mean?
both, for coaching and commentary. I think for like a viewer, I could probably get away with just saying like this is a tail, right? Like,
I think so.
but if I'm like trying to teach a player and they ask me about like starting their tail higher, would I just still refer that to only tail, or would I try to make some distinction between a traditional versus like this? I don't know if I would call it crazier or just different.
I think it's worth using indirect tail or raised tail. I like indirect because it does have that distinction that you're not going straight from the part you're looking at in the chain to the next one. Usually you have to jump your vision a bit, which is like what the Japanese term tsurukame implies, right? Raised I think also works, but indirect is just like it can happen anywhere up the board. I kind of like that distinction. Well, regardless, I think it's a good term to use, yeah.
Okay. Because I think the hard part for overseas players is information because we don't have direct what's it called? I guess the learning process is very different from Japanese Puyo. How do I describe this? Concepts. I don't know. I will draw it out real quick. I don't know if you can see this.
No, you're sharing just the browser.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna switch my screen to Paint real quick.
Sure.
Because you guys talked about one chains, I think, last time.
Yes. Heavily.
And there's actually something about that topic that I think people forget about. So when you have like, I think this is mainly a US player thing. Like when we have like our simple like whatever, we'll say 5-color Poyo, right? It's just like, oh, it sends trash. But the learning process in like the States, it has been like, okay, step 1, learn to chain, right? Oh God, I'm actually gonna just use text for this. Oh, I don't have a mouse, right? It's like learn to chain. And then we don't clear anything, right? We just never cleared anything. We only build big chain. Right? That was like the way to play.
Yeah.
Then step 2 was like, okay, it's okay to clean up with one chain and then build big chain. And this kind of led into step 3 of the learning process, which is, okay, if we clear out too many Puyo, people will poke us because we only use one chain and we didn't understand color bonus at the time. So one chain is bad because we get attacked for it, because step 3 became someone clears too many ones, we build 2. But then, right, we learn about color bonus, so now 2s are kind of scary because they commit more time. And then it's like, oh, greater than 2s now. And I feel like a lot of people just assume that because we are now at this step 4, we should not have learned steps 1 through 3. Right? Because you talked about before, like, oh, before you felt like you had to always set up a 2-chain.
Yes, that's right.
Whenever you're clearing ones. And that happened because at the time, people were only building main chain because that's like historically what overseas players did, because the concept of disruption was not like real. right? Because like 5 years ago, I think it was me who pushed like, if you're clearing once, just send a 2, because one, we didn't know what color bonus really, like the value of it, of sending like 3 trash higher up, but also because no one else was sending 2 chains. Like no one else was doing it, right? Hiku would just build main chain, and you're like, lose if he got hit tagged like 1 time. Right? And it's like, I think the important distinction of like the learning process of overseas versus Japan, because most people aren't going to find those kind of learning resources. So it's about like, all of it just comes from like having to build those frame of references ourselves. But if we talk about like some of the situations, I think sometimes we forget that we had to learn steps 1 through 3, and we just tell people to go straight to 4. And I think that's like the difficult part that English play also has, because it also goes into like tales like this, but also even tales where they're more like raised, like these ones where we don't see as often. Because I'm not sure if these would be considered weaker, or if they are just like you just build it in the kind of moment. Sorry, but that was like a huge tangent. I don't know how easy that was to follow.
Sorry, the number 4, the color bonus. What is color bonus? Do you mean?
I think it's called soft drop. I'm sorry, I think I said color bonus.
Yeah,
My
wrong
bad.
one. Yeah. Soft drop bonus.
Okay.
Sleepy brain.
I understand.
Yeah, but Western players don't even know about soft drop bonus most of the time. If you were to ask the average player 5 years ago, almost no one knew other than like Yoshi and like one other person. And then recently, only top players in overseas and a few of the mid-level players will use it. It's a not common knowledge, which is why you kind of see a lot of weaker players do the old thing where they only build 2s, because that is what we had to learn before we learned soft drop bonus.
I see. So, but to my understanding, the soft drop bonus is cared about only among the top players. So I mean, even in Japan, most of players don't care about the soft drop bonus, because it is really difficult technical thing. So it deals the 3 plus garbage periods later mid game, but using it accurately is really difficult for most of people. 95% of people cannot correctly use that concept. And also, even in Japan, the soft bonus was so people started caring about soft bonus 10 years ago in Japan, only 10 years ago. Before that, even top players don't care about it so much. It's because before 10 years ago, people were mainly doing main chain battle, but since 10 years ago, people started mainly the mid game, so intense mid game, and 5 years ago, people started the end game battle. So using the top 3 rows of the field, then the soft drop bonus importance drastically increased among the top players. So that's importance have been changing for the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years in Japan. So I mean, sorry, I want to say it's really difficult concept to deal with correctly. So I want to say, so don't care about it so much.
That's good to know though, because I think overseas players always look for new information, and then to get advantage, we focus on things that are easier to understand. Because I think soft drop bonus and like 3 trash Puyos that are extra is a lot easier for someone to understand what to do with compared to like learning like multi-stack kind of combinations on the tail, where something like this would be, this like area would be very difficult for someone to learn in the overseas side, whereas soft drop bonus is very self-explanatory. And I think that's where we get the focus from it from, because it's easier to put into a concept into the head of the player.
Mm.
Because I would say overseas is very competitive, but because we don't understand, like, I think tailing is still something that's kind of difficult. I think everyone builds a avalanche. It's a very common tail because it's strong, but it's also very simple to build repeatedly versus like situations where they can't build it, where it's like this pillar or this one. So I think it's overseas players will look for concepts that are easy to follow before they go into more advanced technique, which may not always be
okay.
the correct play.
Okay, finally, I understand what you mean. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I explain stuff clearly, but sometimes I take a little bit to get to the point.
I see. So that's different from Japanese one. So caring about soft drop bonus is something kind of final one for Japanese. But you meant the for the overseas players it's different, but because it's easy concept.
Yes,
To learn, yeah.
because everything overseas players learn is usually watching like a tournament match of like Piponir versus like maybe Saki, and then trying to learn from whatever they watch. Because I think stuff like, I think it is it Puyo Bandcamp? That's like the Japanese wiki.
Puyo Camp, yeah.
Puyo Camp. Bandcamp. Puyo Camp is not something most of us can easily read, nor do we know how to like search it. So everything Western players learn typically comes from watching a Japanese pro match and then trying to pick stuff from it that we think might be good, and then
Great.
trying to learn the lesson ourselves.
Great.
Yes, I think in one way, like the word you use, Tom, we import a lot of knowledge. However, sometimes because we are importing, it's like using Google Translate. So like, even though I watch the high level match and I say, oh, this concept seems strong, I don't completely understand how relevant it is, or if it is actually very strong or not. Because we don't have the same level of knowledge and understanding as the Japanese community.
I see. Yeah, so some years ago, I created the Puyo Word Wiki, and the 300 over 300 words are there. I'm not lucky, but I didn't manage at all. So that's interesting to import them. Sometimes I think, oh, it's interesting if I import all the vocabulary into English, but I didn't.
I didn't know you made the Puyo Words website, Tom. I sometimes use
Yeah,
it.
I made.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, 8 years ago I made it.
Wow.
But I didn't manage it at all.
Yeah, let me go find it for you, Riley. It's like the basically
Yeah.
like Japanese Puyo terminology wiki.
And I think almost no one would probably know what that is. Because I didn't know what that was. I have
Yeah.
actually, this is my first time hearing about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, I'll see if I can find the link, because it's cool, but yeah, not very accessible for us.
Because I think, yeah, because I'm trying to think like if with Puyo words, like it probably would help some players. I'm curious how much it would help commentary, because I think depending on how you compare overseas commentary to, like, if you compare overseas Puyo commentary to overseas fighting game commentary, Puyo commentary would probably be considered pretty weak, because most commentators don't have strong concepts or like terminology.
This one,
I have.
right, Tom?
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
They just crashed on me.
Okay.
Yeah, see, like I don't know how many players would actually know about this website. This is my first time seeing this.
Oh, I didn't know there's English page of this at the left top side, the English page. I
That's
didn't
the
know
one. I
that.
think it's broken. Maybe there's no English
Okay,
page.
broken.
Like you planned it, but you
Okay.
didn't do it. Maybe.
Yeah.
It says it's requesting Puyo Nexus, but that
Oh.
page apparently does not exist.
Okay, that's Puyo Nexus. Okay.
I see.
Yeah. So first, I prepared the pure vocabulary 15 years ago in my blog, but closing that, the imported them, all of them, into this wiki, and then the 200 words were prepared, and some volunteers added many vocabulary into this, and now 300 or so vocabularies are there. So I wanted to know all of them in English, actually.
I see. Interesting.
I wonder if overseas players easily translate these pages by using the browser function or something.
Does it work well for you, Riley? Do you have an auto translator here? Or
Oh, absolutely not. Google Translate's terrible. It's not good. Especially, it depends on like how formally something is written. Like if it's very, very punctual, it can be okay. But because it kind of goes back to since Puyo has very specific words for certain things, which English doesn't have, sometimes the translating of like Google Translate or DeepL will not know what to make that word.
I guess then you just have to kind of infer, right? Like that's where we come in and like develop the terms to fill in the gaps, because if the term doesn't exist, we may as well make it up.
Yes, because like staircase stacking, right, is very simple, right? But I think for more difficult concepts, I'm not sure how easily this would work. Let's see.
Well, I think if we're supported by people like maybe Hiku or Dan, who understand the context of these words, then maybe as a community we can actually translate a lot of this.
Sure.
Yes. But it would require lots of community. Involvement.
I think the 50% to 70% of them were already translated by the Hiku or someone.
Oh, wow.
It looks like the default translation is not too bad. Like, it seems pretty straightforward. I just don't know on like some of the other stuff, because I'm very not. Maybe just because of like, since I've been learning Korean, which tells you like most translators are just bad, so I tend not to use them. I just don't know if that's the same for Japanese, because I don't know any Japanese. My partner does.
I think it definitely depends on the terms being used in the article.
But I think the English uses define the same things in other way is welcomed, because I think Japanese ones are not necessarily perfect, because in Japan's history for 30 years, some individuals defined this terminology person by person, so it is included some the preference, included some so bias or something sometimes, so it's not always perfect about the existing vocabulary. So defining by English people is welcome, I believe.
I wonder if it'll be good to just have like. I wish it was easier to get English commentators together to work on terms that we can all use. But it is time zones, and
that's going to be a podcast subject. Got it.
Yeah, and like
I understand.
Right, yeah, because like I'm trying to think like where else would it would be, because when you think about active commentators who also know enough about that game to commentate, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's very, very few English players. I think me, Fenno, and Haven have the most active analytical commentary about like when stuff is happening and why. But we only commentate in Ascension. Like, we don't commentate in the Reformation and other community stuff. Usually because they want their own commentators, and that's when like term definition starts getting murky, because we don't talk to those commentators. So then they make up their own words, or if they even have a word for it. Or maybe just don't give a word at all, and then like information gets either lost or gained. I think that's one of the struggles of overseas, not just in commentary, but also in gameplay, like with giving advice to other players. A lot of it is very much like, you can do this, or try not to do this, but there's not a lot of why, because we don't always understand why. Like, something that I have been talking with other top overseas players is the group bonus, because Rick from the Taiwan community really likes to add, 5 or 6 Puyos into his links to get that group bonus for extra damage, but some overseas players in like I think US and France avoid that kind of extra Puyo. They only do 4. So when someone asks the difference, many players can't give a good answer. But my answer would be, the 5 and 6 groups on each link is much stronger, and then you get more damage out of it compared to only 4 links on the 10 chain, which can be like very weak. By explaining that in a way both a commentator and a player can understand can be difficult if you are not knowledgeable on topics like that.
Sure, I understand. I see. Basically, I think it's interesting. There's a difference between the regions, even regarding the commentating. So some regions talking about the group bonus, and the other regions not talking about the group bonus because they don't know that concept very well. But I think it's okay. It cannot be helped because it depends on the region and the level of skill and the level of understanding. So it's difficult. It's difficult to have the common understanding about the difficult theory, like the group bonus or which is stronger between the group bonus versus the color bonus or the single 4 chain or something. It's difficult to have that concept at the same time. Everyone cannot have that concept at the same time. So, for example, I said last week about in the Yoshi's stream, the difference between single 13 chain versus 12 chain double. The difference is the constant. It's if I remember correctly, it's kind of a 3 rows of garbage or something, and it's the same between the 5 double versus 6 chain. Yeah, it's constant.
Alien?
The chain number. Chain number doesn't matter about the constant garbage. So it because some years ago I calculated all the differences between the single chain, double chain, and the group chain. So all differences were constant between single N chain versus the 4 it's hard to explain in verbal, but between the N chain versus N-1, 4 chain versus N-1 H group chain. All the differences are constant between 5 chain to 5 chain and above. And I'm wondering if anyone overseas could calculate about this these differences in the past. I'm wondering about it. If someone calculated about this, they probably maybe spread that information in their region or in overseas. I'm not sure, but so it's important to try it once by someone.
I don't know if anyone actually has done that, at least for the US or Europe, because I think a lot of players are very instinctual. They rather build and make muscle memory than do math.
Yeah, it's okay. For me, it's okay. The more instinctively playing, don't math is welcomed because it's that region.
Yeah,
I-
I agree. I think
more muscular.
that is very US.
Yeah,
We believe like Riona and Kuperi, right, show how much instinct they have. They don't really build traditional chains.
yeah. So the 1 hour ago, I had a match with Dan, and Dan had so many rush attacks to me. And, oh, it's muscular, something muscular. And I felt his power, and it's very good because the every player does every player does do the same thing. It's not interesting. It's boring. S- someone does a different thing. It's interesting. Some region do different thing. It's interesting. It depends on the region, culture, and the thoughts of the people. So I don't want some region to do the things like the Japan or any other regions. So I want to I want everyone to give their characteristic more instinctively.
I know Dan really likes the big thorns as his opener if he can build it. He really likes the shape when he can build
Yeah.
it. It's so funny.
Yeah, so keeping it is very good. It shows the thoughts. So maybe he think it's really strong. The prioritizing and valuing this shape than the other people.
I think it's because many overseas players outside of the US play on Puyo Versus where the strategy is not common. I think if you were to look back at a bunch of overseas gameplay, you would never see anyone do this back in the day. But because it's 3 rows, it's a lot. But in the US, Puyo Puyo Tetris 1 was extremely popular, and you had to learn how to play against Tetris. And this was very good against Tetris, as well as this was one of the most popular tales in the US at the time. I think it was called Devil Tower. Or like you were supposed to build this every time in the US for a long time because it was good against Tetris.
Okay, okay. Ah, interesting. So yeah, this is very good sometimes. So the yeah, eh, the against Tetris, it's good. The durability, and sometimes even against the Puyo Puyo, it's okay. It's funky against the two double or three chains, the pokes. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And yeah, at the moment, this Japanese player adapt this, but it's I think it's no reason why they don't adapt this shape. I think it's sometimes strong because the high durability and the high capability of attacking, breaking this chain with some pokes. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And I personally prefer this shape.
Yeah, I think it's very fun. And that's why I think some of the US players will always like to go for it in tournament because it just very surprised. So some players will just lose to it.
Yeah. So and so scared for the opponent to see this shape because so many two double, so many pokes included in this tower, right?
Yes. I think this shape makes some players afraid to do certain extensions too, because US players will do it. So, but sometimes players will want to extend like this, but it's very scary for if you're playing US player because this takes a long time and they might just do big two double.
I got it. Yeah. I understand what you mean. So it's it highly depending on the competitive scene in that region. So the defensive style is affected by the other's attacking style. So I mean, this shape takes a long time to complete. So the putting blue, green, yellow, red. Oh, so many pieces are needed, right? Then in that the competitive environment, if in that competitive environment, uh, some quick attackers exist, we can build this shape because it takes big risks against the attackers. But if we don't have not so many quick attackers, we can build this shape because in mid game no attacks coming. We can we don't need the quick emergency fire or something. We have a long time to complete the transition. And then this shape will improve in that environment. So it depends. What shape is developed is highly depending on the environment and the region. So I can understand US players don't do this because it takes a huge risk.
Yeah. 'Cause it makes sense, yeah. And that's why I think it's so interesting, because I think this form is very good for extending nicely. It's just very slow, which I think it's more common in regions that don't have as aggressive tendencies. Because I think US is trying to learn more how to use their tailing to attack as well now. Sometimes I see it kind of common if someone builds like this, they will try to kind of like build something like this to attack with the tail so they can keep their transition without giving up the yellows for like for attempts at like 3 chains, but it's kind of slow because you have to clear out the blues and then you lose your tail. So they try to do it higher up where there's less time punishment. But I think overseas players are looking to be more aggressive because I think that's where they feel they are stronger or can be stronger, because trying to learn how to build big 14 chains like Japanese players does not feel reachable right now because we don't have as strong chain understanding. However, you don't need as much chain understanding if your job is to build strong attack or disruption.
Okay, I understand. So in that environment, so I think the synchronized main chain will be developed because against this power 3 chain, we definitely have to synchronously fire the main chain, the main 6 chain or 7 chain. we have trouble. We have trouble countering in this quick 3 chain properly, right? So what technique is involved is really depending on that situation again.
That makes sense. I'm very curious to see the US players play the Japanese players next Sega event, because I want to know how many Japanese players are going to be ready for Dan or Kuperi to do some early attack that's not common in a Japanese gameplay.
Yeah, so at first it's really surprising. So the 1 hour ago, so I had the games with Dan and Anameru. Anameru is in US.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Oh,
she used to be, I think, but I'm not sure where she resides now.
But both players are so aggressive. So I was surprised, and I failed to counter it correctly because the hook timing was so fast. I found it how to counter it in that early timing. So it's the same to most of Japanese people. So first they will be really surprised at the quick attacks, and if it's the first to 5 or first to 10, it's really effective for them because they cannot get used to countering it. But the longer games, they will be adapting. So getting used to that speed. Oh, okay, synchro main chain is enough or something. Okay. The two quad first from me is okay, efficient or something. So it's if it's short term, it's really effective, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's really interesting.
Because I don't think many overseas players play in Hisha or Oil League, so I think it'll be fun.
So it's important to hide their strategy, their strategy until the day.
Yes, I'm glad you said it because I tell people to hide strategies too.
I highly recommend you to hide your strategy until that tournament day because knowing that rush strategy is really advantageous for the opponent. Really, really. So aggressive playstyle is weak against the being well known.
I think that is overseas fighting game habits where you hide strategies until tournament. And sometimes we hide strategies from each other. And then it surprises other players when Dan or someone pulls out new strategy you're not ready for. And then it becomes a very aggressive game to not let them do the new strategy.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's like it. So I really hope US players will do it suddenly in that day.
I hope so too, because I think this kind of strat is getting more common, and I think because of players like Rick, some players are trying to increase the number of players on their back half, so sometimes we're starting to see kind of like chains like this where they're a bit less stable, but they have the 5 group bonus to try and implement into their chain.
Yeah, that's it. So it's shorten the chain time. It's easy. It's make it easy to follow up after the 2-double or something. So it's very good for the quick attackers.
Yeah, I think overseas really likes power chain because there's less time to build another chain in the post game. And so power chains are just good ways to get a lot of damage without committing as much. So sometimes I think players do this where like it's so much power right here, but then they keep the tail going. And then it takes like even longer to resolve, so the power comes in later. And I think it slows down their chain. I don't know if that would be considered good or bad to have the power in the middle of the chain.
It's controversial. So it's okay. It's okay. So first building this yellow-green simultaneous clear was made because that player wanted to do a mid game. So the quick 2-double or following up with the yellow-green double, and if they fail to win the game by doing a mid game, they will go to the main chain battle and adding this red and blue for going for extending the tails. That's okay. That's not the how can I say that's not what they wanted to do. But they cannot help doing this because it's the main chain battle. So I think these players in tails. That's okay. That's okay. So yeah, it cannot be helped.
Okay.
So, but not strong. Not strong because the power is the concentrated into this green yellow in the progress of the chain, not the end of the chain. So it's not strong. But if they force the opponent via the main chain first, it's okay. It's okay. It's enough. It's sufficient by adding this red and blue.
Okay. That makes sense. It's always very curious because it depends so much on like if your attacks land or not. I know sometimes players will attempt to even clean up the greens up here and then try to get them back later by doing maybe something like this as well, so they don't have as much power later or early, so they can kind of get back their links. And I think it's really interesting to see players kind of choose when they want to clean up their chain and make a new plan versus when they commit to just that plan in the moment.
Yeah, basically this single chain is stronger than the previous one, but the previous, if we build the previous tail, so could you
Yeah.
back to the previous shape?
So
Yeah. Then I try to do simultaneous clear, completely simultaneous clear on that tail. So I mean the add reds on top of greens, right? Simultaneous clear for simultaneous clear, like the column five, for
like this.
and yeah, and on this red, we put blue, blue for blues. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's yeah. Like this, I wanted to complete this chain as the complete simultaneous clear, not extending after the simultaneous clear, right? So that chains after the simultaneous clear, like the so chain is the chain is continuing after the simultaneous clear is definitely weak, basically, because it's simultaneous clear is more powerful in terms of time. So I mean if we fire the main chain later than the opponent, it means the main chain length will give the time to the opponent for building the second chain. So the shortening our main chain is really important, not to the second building time to opponent. So if we had the extension after the simultaneous clear 1 + 1 + 2, it is more risky than the power. So risk means giving the second extension time to the opponent.
Okay. Do you think if you're going to do power tail, you should try to focus on mainly making like the shape, or not really the shape, but like to make it all clear simultaneously rather than trying to extend on top of it with individual links?
Sure. So yeah. So these shapes advantage is if I don't think I don't think about it so deeply, I can build this shape. So only just stacking on the kind of 4, 5, 6, or stack. Oh, some wasted Puyos. Oh, I don't care about the wasted Puyos. Stack. Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's really important to make this simultaneous clear on the in the tail is very easy. Don't think I feel the power. I just stuck to clear it simultaneously.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Very spooky.
Yeah. So for example, yellow there, column 6. Yellow, and column 5 yellow, and column 4 bottom red, upper yellow. Then this red will be wasted, not cleared, right?
Yeah.
But I don't care anything. Because we're at top speed stack. Oh, red wasted. I don't care because we can pop the yellow, another yellow. Oh, it's okay. And it doesn't give any time to build a second for the opponent.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense now that I explain. Because I think either Yuki or Saki Gohan did something similar to this.
Yeah.
One of
You
their
get it.
matches. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So that's because they understanding this concept.
Okay, that is good to know because I guess as a native US player, I want to know more aggressive strategies and understand
Okay.
where they're good.
I think the aggressive strategy will be more developed than now because the most Japanese players stopped doing the aggressive strategy because the top players like Momoken, Maki wanted to do mid game, end game rather than the aggressive strategy. So the progress of the aggressive strategy stopped in Japan culture. Only Japanese players doing this is TS, OT, and right. Above than A class league. So really a few people only do this. So I believe if US players keep doing this, they can develop more than now. So develop then the maker frontier of the aggressive strategy.
Okay. So it sounds like aggressive strategies still have a place in Puyo. We just have to find it.
Yes, the potential to beat other strategies.
Always good to hear. I think players east overseas will continue to try and develop that because I think that is just how they like to play the game, or at least how we like to play the game.
Yeah. One thing is it's really difficult to think about the best timing to attack. So I mean for aggressive strategies, there are so many timings to attack. So first, at the beginning of the game, you can the 2 double, 3 double, or 3 or 4 at the base, but it's a little bit sometimes it's a little bit risky. So after building base, when you and the opponent building the transition, you can another chance to attack with 2 double or 2 triple, 3 double. It's the relatively a good chance, better chance than others. And also you will have the another chance when you are building the second transition, and after that in end game you also have the another chance. So many chances for aggressive strategies. So it is difficult. What is difficult most difficult is choose the appropriate timing, the highest win probability timing to choose.
Okay, because even on this kind of tale, almost like if the timing is good, you can just maybe try to blow up this without the yellows.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So you can trigger by the green and have 2 double, the breaking the tails. It can be effective. And also, yeah, you have a lot of chances. You have a lot of the choices to trigger. So you have not only green, but also, okay, initiate with the upper blue, only 2 chain as an initiation. So many choices. Yeah. So, but on the other hand, there's so many choices. Buzzard, and yeah, you were suffering from the so many choices. What should we do? What should we do? So, which option I should choose? It's difficult.
You can't be scared. You just have to go for it.
Yes.
I'm sure Yoshi will be very excited about these aggressive developments. They're his favorite.
What? Hey, I thought that was Dan's thing, not mine.
And I think every player feels really happy when they get hit with an aggressive Puyo opening. And oops, I can no longer play the game.
I feel happy when I make the 5 chain and I go, haha, your 2 chain is bad.
Yeah. So aggressive styles. So as you said, aggressive styles are very effective against the multiple stacking. So Yoshi's are building so many cushions on the top of the transition, and Dan will fire the 2 double, 2 triple or something. Couldn't make it.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes, I think it's a really interesting matchup. Earlier, well, just before the call, I fought Dan and I went 30 to 26 because, but recently I was losing all of my matches against him, because I was developing like the theoretical understanding of multiple stacking effectiveness. But it's like Dan wants to train his aggressive style, but I want to train my theoretical S-class style of gameplay. So both of us are competing with each other to see if we can grow more in our individual style, which makes the matchup very interesting.
Sure. So theoretically, the multiple stacking with many cushions are weak against the aggressive style because the aggressive style includes the 2 double with the 5 group.
Yes.
So 5 2 double is the strongest in this game, but on the other hand, with the multiple stacking, we often do the 4 4 4. So that's single chain.
That's
single
right.
chains weak against the 5 5 group bonus chains. So theoretically it's the suffering from from that style.
Yes, that's right. But I also believe I can still push my ability to use it, so that even if I see two double with 5 5, then I can fight it with like a 4-chain and then outchain him afterwards, hopefully. So I'm going to test it.
Question, Yoshi, then for your style. How do you feel about Riona's, where he kind of builds almost similar to Rick in a way, where it's individual links, but each individual link has like 6 or 7 Puyo in it. Because I think that scaling catches off guard many of the mid level and like high low level players in the US and like overseas.
Currently, my plan against it is that my main chain power will still end up being higher than theirs because, well, for example, against Riona, I definitely can outchain him with higher than like 50% probability. Like, if it becomes main chain coin flip, then I should be able to win because his chains, they do power at the end, but they also power throughout, which is weaker, right? So generally, I should be able to outchain that. It becomes more difficult with Rick because I haven't found that same level of weakness yet, but I believe that if I push my main chaining power enough, then I should be able to still outchain him as well, because he's being a little less efficient on the way up. Like with his like 4th chain, 5th chain link, or 6th chain link, if they're with 5 Puyos, then it's like a little less effective than if I add 1 link to the back of my chain and make my 14 into a 15, for example.
Okay. Do you still prioritize like 4 group Puyo over 5 group towards the end of your chain, or does it matter to you?
Usually, I'm most comfortable building like 4 link chains because I want to maximize to like 15 to get that guaranteed 100k, because I find it harder to guarantee 100k if I power, because it's a bit more finicky, I think, to deal with, at least for my comfort, for my building comfort. Whereas like for Rick it might be easier because he just like knows how to already, but I would rather stick with what I'm comfortable with and utilize the tools I have in mid game to like be able to build up to like 15 chain.
Okay, that makes sense. I wasn't sure if there was like a big difference or not, just for my sake and also commentary. So when we talk about you and Rick's chaining or some similar matchup for English commentators, it just looks like on the outside, or even like I think for viewers, it's just like, oh, obviously you should have 5 Puyo in each link is just better. But I think the understanding of like why that might not be the case is harder to get if you're not someone who is used to playing a lot.
Yeah, because it's like that intuition, like you said, right? Where, especially if you build power chains, you need to develop the intuition for, is my damage output actually good here? Otherwise, you stumble and fall because anyone who focuses main chain on you will win. But Rick hasn't allowed that to happen, which means that his intuition has been very well developed.
Okay, I see. I feel like I've learned so much from this call already.
I love that. That's so good. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
So, did you know the parent cuts?
No, Tom, you haven't told me what this is. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Parent cut is okay. I will explain to lady. Okay. Please place a cushion of yellow on the lights 1, 2, 3 column. Yeah. Yes. And put red in the column 1.
Okay.
And the blue will be placed in column 1. 2 blues.
Okay, please.
Oh.
And column 2.
No.
Another blue.
No, not this one.
And fire the yellow.
No.
Fire the yellow.
No, I hate this one.
Yeah.
No, I understand
Oh yeah,
now,
that's
Tom.
what I'm doing.
I know this one now.
Yeah. Okay, this is called parent cut.
Is
Because Japanese people have seen this card rather than the parents' face.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny because we called it because in English we call this ruining your chain.
So I'm not sure I'm not sure your culture, but for Japanese people, so going back home, going back the hometown to see their parents' face is really important. So many times going back to home is good. The children. But some Puyo players, some gamers don't go back home to see their parents. So they are only playing the Puyo. So
I see.
they've seen this card rather than parents' face.
That's so
That's so funny.
funny.
I'm gonna call this the parent cut from now on. Oh my
Yes,
god.
and we have to explain to everyone.
This is parents' card.
That's really funny.
So the formally said cut okay, cut scene than parent's face. It's formal name.
That's so funny.
That's so good.
But I don't know your region's culture, so it's the common or not. I'm not sure.
Honestly, ruining your chain might just be the similar impliedness of parent cut because that's something I actually get on to players about, and the US is doing this kind of cut because most players will not rebuild GTR here. If they do that cut, they'll just be like, what's it called? Oh god.
Uh-oh.
No. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. When they do this cut, they'll just like rebuild something weird that doesn't work with each other. Just probably be like, okay, this goes here, this goes here. And they'll just like build this and they'll just like forget about column one. Because they're just like so focused on fishing the chain. Which is why like sometimes we just call this ruining your chain because people will just like build really inefficiently after a point that just like make use of the extra space or like the attack. That's like purely slang. That is not like an official term. It's more like just a joke because players would do that so often. Where they'll like break their key form, then they panic and just try to build something, but then they build like all of these color conflicts. Right, because this can't really use blue or yellow as easily, so you have to use red, but red's also here. And it just becomes a mess. It's really funny.
Okay.
But some players do this because the US is so aggressive that they are afraid to wait for pieces to make GTR again because they think they will be attacked. So they build something right away.
Yeah, I see. I understand what they feel.
Yeah. But I guess that's like the scary part about US playstyle like that is players get very scared to do more advanced tactics because they feel like they'll just be rushed down, like whether it's cushioning or multi-stacking, because I think US players have a bad habit of not practicing advanced tech outside of tournament, so they only do it in tournament, and then they get scared and then they stop doing it. It's like, you have to keep doing it if you want to learn it, and it becomes a negative feedback loop, which is something I have to like tell players not to do. I have to be like, if you want to learn something, you just have to keep doing it, both in tournament and out of tournament, which is why I think Dan is getting such stronger because he builds submarine in single player, he builds it in practice sets, and he builds it in tournament. So he gets lots of experience. But it is not always very common for overseas because there's a lot of pride in winning. Overseas players don't care about money generally. They care about trophy. And the trophy is more important. for a lot of players.
Understood. Sure, understood.
Yeah.
So defining the term is important because, for example, that parents' cards turned into the technique rather than the card, just a card. So sometimes, please place the yellow cushion again,
Hey, this one.
and place green
Okay.
and blue. Okay, blue, two blues in column 1 and
Like-
not column 2, not column
Oh,
2.
oops.
Okay, then this timing, for example, the opponent fires 2 double,
Mhm.
and there is no appropriate counter in this field, then I have the parent's card potential, so I place the blue in column 2 and fire with yellow. Then yeah, sure. Then parent cards 3 double counter. So I mean, the first it's named as the card everyone wants to avoid. But after that, some top players use this as a technique to counter. So making the another counter before the name exists. I'm not sure about it correctly, but important thing is defining something develops the strategy sometimes. So
Okay.
many people get so many people became easy to understand, easy to do this strategy. I have parent card option to counter it or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I think that's good to know because I think many people would see it, myself included, would just usually see this as not good. But if you can make it useful, then it is good. Like, because you can do that
Yes.
counter.
Yeah. So before naming this card is one of one of many cards, just one of them. But
Mhm.
after naming this becomes just a technique,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm. That makes sense.
Okay, so defining something is really important. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
So this balance card is deeply related to the Japanese concepts, the context. So I want to see your region's something like this.
Yeah, I don't know if we have like anything family related because family culture in the US is so widely different depending on where you live in the US.
Oh.
In the southern states, this would probably be called the same thing because family is very, very important in the southern states, but in other states outside of the US, like towards the north or west, sometimes family is not traditional because there is some history of toxic family behavior in the US, so some people will leave their families and not see them anymore. So I don't know. I think what area would call this a family cut would be very different versus I don't think we have any like culture names for terms of like chains that I'm aware of. Yoshi might know.
Not that I'm aware of. Usually we're more descriptive, like you said.
Yeah. I think that's probably because of like people like me and Kyobi. Now that I think about it.
That makes sense to
I
me.
think yeah, because me and Kyobi did all the commentary for a really long time. And we would always rely on describing chains because we did not have terms. Which is why we have so many descriptive terms like raised tail, or we have to talk about like pillars of three, or like there's always some add-on to the term. It is never just the term itself, more often than not.
Oh, Dan brings up a good one. He says we do have Hoover Dan.
That is true. The top out yourself and lose the round is I blame Riona for that one.
What is Hooverden?
Hoover Dan is, let's say, if you're building up your chain, I'll just make something random real quick. If, let's say, you're just building your way up to the top, and oh god, and you're just trying to finish up your chain so you can set it off. Sometimes what will happen is Dan would have made the mistake where he could have won a round if he had set off his chain, but he will accidentally lock in a piece wrong. So if this is his chain right now and his next color is blue green, sometimes he will accidentally do this, and then he tops himself out because he does not pop with the correct color. And then you die and lose the round, and that is the Dan special because he used to do it all the time.
I think it's
It
funny.
became so frequently that we would joke about it on commentary a lot.
Okay, interesting.
This has, I think, 5 years of history of just random clips of Dan accidentally topping himself out.
Okay, interesting.
That is probably the most notorious North America tech you could ever do.
Yes, if you ever hear Riona on commentary, you'll hear him say, "Oh, that player, they did the Dan. They did it. They're the best player ever." That sort of thing.
Yeah.
I will quickly make a small correction in that this move, yeah, is going like the Dan, but then we have Hoover Dan, which was no, sorry, it was Dan's old like really huge two chain like double
the
tower thing that he
Hellstorm
used to do.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So like that was Hoover Dan, whereas this one is just the Dan.
So it was almost like kind of like, oh god.
Yeah. This one.
Yeah, this thing.
And it's
Yeah,
like
'cause
that
he would-
because we have like the Hoover Dam, which is actually, I don't know where it is. My geography is really bad. Maybe if you
Yeah.
look for it.
I don't remember where that is, honestly. I'll be real. I'm kind of not too smart on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then he would build something like, I don't know, like this, and then he would like opt out into like main chain sometimes and be like, okay, this is just my tail ender. Or he would just use red and he would just set it off and then rebuild GTR afterwards.
Oh, interesting. So what's this name?
Hoover Dan. Because it's like
Hoover
the,
Dan. Okay.
in real life we have the Hoover Dam, which is like, it stops water, but then if you remove the dam, all of it like gushes out. And that's kind of like this 2-triple. Like you remove the red and it all gushes out, I guess.
No, interesting. This is strong.
It's like a regional term though. Example.
Yeah. This made many players very salty when they would lose to this. I think Dan probably has the most name association for strats because I think he is the most innovative from like the old school players.
Yes, I was calling him inventor to Tom.
Okay.
I think otherwise, like we already have terms. We have like villains, but that's about it. I think U.S. is like, or at least like overseas terms are not nearly as big as I guess personality traits. I think this might be mainly just North America, but we really like players that have big egos. We like talking trash and being very cocky. Even if we will lose, because it is more fun to talk trash than it is to not talk trash. But I think that's very different from Japanese culture because when like during the interview with Live and the other Japanese players, they are very nice and very respectful. They're like, I play to win, you know, my opponent played well. I just tried to play better, right? They don't say anything mean. In US, sometimes we are like, I am just better than my opponent, or today I was just better than Dan. Like, it was easy, which is very, you know, in Japan would probably be very disrespectful. But in the US, there is a culture to trash talk where there is a acceptable amount. Where like if you talk trash a little bit, it is okay to be like, yeah, I just played better than Dan today. Like, yeah, what can I say? I'm just the best. To like talk about yourself very highly, but it's not very common in regions outside of the US. Or I would say it kind of happens in Europe, but it is definitely more of a US thing because I think that's what players tend to be more interested in, because it goes back to pride of being able to win, get trophy, and then be better than your opponent.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, little bit different from the Japanese one. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure the Japanese the like kind of the interviews answers the attitude. I'm not sure if there is the one single tendency or not. I'm not sure about it, but sometimes I feel players, Japanese players or Asian players are modest, humble rather than the other regions. So they are thinking, Japanese players, don't say the I'm better than the others. Don't. It's difficult, but it depends the person. But basically, one important thing is in Japan, this is the how can I say, versus game. So I mean we need the opponent. We can't play this competitive game only by myself.
Yeah.
So historically, they are caring about doing good with others. So don't fight against the others outside of the game. Don't be friend. Be good friend.
Yeah.
Don't be enemy, because the community is small. Each person knows the others. So be so having so keeping a good friendship is important for especially before the online age. So 10 years ago or before that, we gathered in the real place, which called game center, which is arcade. So face-to-face matches are there. So it is important to be a good person there, right?
Yeah.
So it's historical thing, and yeah. So still, many people are good person in front of the interview, in front of the opponent, and if you are not the good person, you will not find the opponent. It's historical thing.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's little bit different in the modern times because in in the modern times we can more easily find the opponent online. So FT10 please. I wanted that. I want to do that. So it's easier in this age. Yeah. But basically that's the thing.
Yeah, I think at least many US players know to only talk trash to like their friends or people they know, or like have an association with. Like most heel or like kind of like a villain behavior they would not do to like people they don't know, especially not new players. But if they know people, it is very common to just friendly talk trash, like Riona and Dan talk trash to each other. I will trash talk with Riona. There is a notorious clip of me slamming a table after I beat Dan because I beat him for the first time. Stuff like that. I don't think I've ever seen a Japanese player slam a table though, in excitement.
Yeah, interesting. But really interesting it is the trash talks and some people say I'm stronger than the opponent today. So it's really fascinating the audience and even fascinating me. So yeah, that's okay and welcomed. So I think it's really interesting.
I think the term for it in English would be love to hate. It's a character that you love because you want the hate is not real hate, but you love them because they're like the bad boy. They break the rules. They don't play traditionally. They do crazier strats because they are strong. There's a lot of that in overseas media where people really like villain characters. Some of the most popular characters in English tend to be villains. It's very funny.
I see. Yeah, it's interesting. And I'm curious about the US Puyo competitive scene. So there are so many strong players, and so Dan got 8 points against me, and Anamir got 16 points against me in FD20. Oh, I was sorry. Yeah, interested, and it was so amazing. Oh, that's cool play. Oh, what a play! I didn't see the play style. Yeah, but I'm curious about the US rankings. So whose number one is really difficult to talk about because everyone's really strong.
NA is getting stronger again. Earlier this year, people would have said US is a very weak region right now. US used to be much stronger 2 years ago, where we would just kind of win a lot because most events would happen in the US. And the US is kind of strange because we have offline events, but they are separated from our online ones. A lot of our players who play offline do not play online, and a lot of our players who play online do not play offline. So it's very interesting because there is, so I would say, bad blood between the online and offline players for a little bit that has settled because PPT Puyo Tetris is very controversial in the US, or it used to be. I think S2 and Zan basically hate the game, and they did not want the game to. They wanted champions, but in US offline, it loves anime fighting games like Guilty Gear and Street Fighter, which are very, very expressive. And Puyo Tetris 1 is more expressive because, the characters say funny lines, they talk trash to each other sometimes. Whereas Champions is seen as boring because they just count. They say 1, 2, 3. There's no Blizzard, Ice Storm, Cosmic Rectangle. There's no cool spell names.
Sure.
Yeah. And the speed difference between Champions and PPT 1 and 2 being different also made some US players not like the game, which was really weird because I think Chronicles and Puyo Champions also have different speeds. So I'm not sure why that one was such a big deal. But I do know that Tetris kind of overshadowed Puyo a little bit. So people who grew up with Puyo Versus and really old Puyo games felt overshadowed, so they didn't like Puyo Tetris. But players like myself and Riona, who grew up with it, like it a lot because is what got into Puyo. So players who have played both old school and new school, like Dan, are typically stronger because they play players on both games. And right now, the US, I think, has gotten stronger because we play now on both games and not just one. Before, we'd only play on PPT2 because I was popular. So we'd only play the same group of people. And then when we started playing more on Champions and PC, we started playing more overseas players, which helped us get more experience and become stronger again. And then this kept going as people like Kuperi and Anna got more practice with other players. Dan got more exposure to other regions and more practice with Japanese players overseas. So things kind of started growing for US players. So now we have a lot of players who are strong again, who also want to win. But the history for the US is very complicated.
Why do they offline people don't play online?
The net play is bad. The netcode sucks. So nowadays, rollback netcode in fighting games is a mandatory must play for the US because we are so spread out. It is very hard to have matches that do not lag in between different states with delay-based netcode, and this is harder for Puyo because we are so spread out and not even close to Japan. So we have sometimes very laggy matches that we cannot do anything about. So because the US has so many offline events, it is easier to play offline and just wait for an event to happen than it is to play net play. So some players will just choose to only play offline, but because offline is very weak, because there are not many pro players who travel offline, they are not very strong, but it is more enjoyable because there is no lag in the game. Like, you don't have to worry about plugging in your LAN cable, or if your opponent is not using a LAN cable, which may make it laggier.
I understand.
Yeah. And I think that is the same for where everyone else is spread out, so the connection gets worse. And then it makes overseas tournaments harder, because when all the Japanese players and the overseas players are playing on Steam, matches get really laggy. I think one thing I've talked about with other players, it feels really awkward to watch the overseas part of Sega stream, and then you just see the game freeze and lag in the middle of their match.
Oh.
It just makes for an awkward viewing experience.
Oh, really? So then, hearing that, I'm worried about the next tournament in the mixed ST4, right? So it's okay. So mixing the Japanese and overseas, then the more laggy.
Yeah, that is. I think it'll still be fun for players. I think sometimes it might get a little frustrating for certain other ones if the matches get really laggy between, let's say, US and Japan, because they are very far away.
Sure.
I think, though, overseas players will still enter anyways and play because they want Puyo to grow. And if you want things to change and get better, you must show that you are willing to participate for things to change and get better. So I think everyone's hope is the more overseas players that enter these Sega events, the more they will be willing to fix what we would call netcode issues.
So I don't understand the network things well, but if that net code issue is improved, there will be no lags in PoP Champions.
Yes, hopefully. Because there are plenty of clips of overseas players trying to play with Japan, and it's just very laggy.
Okay, it matters of the rollback, right?
Yeah.
Not implementing rollback causes this matter.
Yeah, because there are two different ways of netcode. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this, because I'm not the most experienced with this type of netcode. But the best way to put it is rollback has traditionally helped with frame drops or stuttering that happens in delay-based netcode.
So
And I think most online versus games have started adding it. So Champions obviously is older, but I think rollback netcode is technically more expensive to do, though, which is like the other issue. Because I think delay based tends to be peer to peer, and I think rollback relies on what I think would be referred to as like skipping frames, as well as different servers across
Sure.
regions, which is a lot.
I understand. Okay, if there is if there is a huge lag in the next tournament, mixing the all over the world, yeah, Sega maybe think about the implementing that rollback, because doing the matches in the fair condition and in the normal condition is really important for esports, and Sega will understand this. But so far, I didn't understand that the lag between the Japan as a region and between other regions. How big is the how big it is I was not sure about it so far. So, and if implementing the rollback is expensive, it also matters. It's difficult. It's difficult to implement.
Yeah, agreed. Like, I think at this point, many overseas players would just be happy to see any form of just like updated netcode, because at least for Sega events, it starts off really bad, but once people get eliminated and there's less people playing, then it gets better. It's generally like the start that's really rough. Or if we have a big online overseas tournament, then sometimes it pops up.
Was there lags in the ST3 as a region tournament?
Yes.
Why was it?
So actually, Cliv and Cooperi couldn't even play their match on Steam. They had to go to Switch because they couldn't. And then I believe it was me and Mindy also had trouble playing our match because it was stuttering a lot.
What was the root cause of the lag?
I don't know. I don't know if it was like a server issue or something, just from like the amount of people being online at once. Because I think most overseas players know to use a LAN cable to make sure that connection is good. But there's only so much you can do if it's a server issue, so it's hard to say without being there to diagnose it.
Steam Puyo is using Sega's server. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. So, but I guess for PlayStation and for Nintendo Switch, the Puyo titles using their server, so which means Sony's server and the Nintendo server, but Steam using Sega's server. I'm sure the correct information, but if so, there was some issues.
Yes, I think it mainly shows up on Steam. It's been a long time since we've done like a really big Switch tournament, so I cannot say for Switch, but at least for Steam, it gets a little rough to play on.
Which platform is the most preferred for overseas tournament?
Switch.
Which
100% Switch, yeah.
Champion or PPT2?
Oh, God, depends on the region. US, I would say PPT2. For Europe, it might just be Champions. It's kind of complicated because every region outside of Japan started on different games. Like France plays a lot of Puyo Versus. US was a lot of PPT1. I think Great Britain was mainly on Champions. So we don't have a single game, but I think if it was either PPT1 or champions, it would be fine. If it was for viewership, I think PPT2 is more popular than champions or esports.
I see.
I think everyone would be fine using PPT2. But it's definitely the case that the Switch version is more stable than the Steam version. Especially Puyo Champion Steam. Oh goodness, people were disconnecting all the time. There was a tournament recently, and people couldn't even go into the room. It was quite troublesome.
Oh my god.
I think it was the Taiwan tournament. I remember, like, it was so difficult for the streamer to spectate the room. It would just explode.
I see. Okay, thank you for talking today. So I'm taking a shower.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for talking to me, Tom. I was very interested to talk with you since I've been watching the English commentary, seeing what I can learn from you as well.
Yeah, me too. So please exchange the information about commentating. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you as well.
Yeah,
and thank you,
thank
Yoshi, too.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you for being here, both of you.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you. See you.
Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, Tom.
Bye.
There we go.
That was fun.
Yeah. Got a lot of nice, like, I guess finding some ground between your perspectives.
Yeah, I was very curious to talk with them. I was also being careful not to do my bad habit of opening up random tabs on my windows.
Hey.
Like, Yoshi is streaming, don't do it.
I totally understand, don't worry.
I have such a bad fidget thing with that.
Yeah. Understandable.
I did not mean to actually teach the Dan Top out, but when I heard Dan Tech, this is the first thing I thought of.
It's okay, because Rihanna tried to spread it already, so it was inevitable that it would show.
I'm sorry, Dan.
It's okay. He'll just smile about it, because he's, like, the best.
I did not get to have chat open, because I just forgot to open it before the conversation, so I hope I didn't miss anything.
That's okay. When there was, like, really key things, then I brought them up in the conversation for chat, so all good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very nice. I think I talked about most of the stuff I want to. There was like the one like pillar kind of tail end of what I'd like to get to, but it was not nearly as important as the other conversation stuff.
Totally, yeah, that's reasonable.
I did like the conversation on power chaining versus like the individual links versus just like making sure it ends simultaneously. Because I think a lot of power chainers opt in for the individual link instead of the simultaneous end.
Because they don't recognize, like you said, the idea behind power tailing is that the stuff ends up powering on the final link of the chain. So the moment you start adding links after that, it like decreases the value of that power. So if you just buff that power on that link, then it ends up like, I think theoretically it can end up more powerful. Yeah. And it's faster. Faster is the big thing, right? Like he said, he just kind of like go, I don't care about this wasted piece. I'm just going for speed.
Yes, we have to increase our int strats. The parent cut, though, I did not realize that was like a terminology in actual strategy. I thought that was kind of just a meme.
That's hilarious. I didn't know about that too,
So
because
good.
he said the name of it in my last chat with him, but he didn't tell me what it was. So I was very eager, and I've not been disappointed.
That was really nice. Yeah, I'm glad I also got like some terms cleared up for commentary, like the whole like, is it okay to call it like a raised tail versus like what would I call, what was it, the Suru Kame?
Yeah, that's right, because there is an
chemistry.
existing equivalent term in Japanese, but ultimately it's up to us whether we adopt it or if we use our own term, or again, it can depend on the commentator. Oh, there was one comment actually that I didn't get to bring up, and that was what Dan said earlier. I'm going to... Why is this tiny fly randomly like showed up out of nowhere? Oh my gosh.
He moved from my apartment to your house because I
gosh.
haven't seen them in a while.
That's so annoying. Okay, Dan just mentioned that we were talking about commentator differences and like, you know, different levels between different regions. But like we were talking about, it's not inherently really a problem because he says, to quote Dan, having different types of commentators with different knowledge levels for different communities might be a good thing because the complexity of the commentary should probably vary with the expected skill of the viewers. It's sort of like the whole know your target audience, know what type of commentary you need, right?
Yeah, I actually agree with that for now because I think when it comes to, I think reasons why people like Riona on the Puzzle Kingdom commentaries because most of them don't know how to play the game very high. And then for Ascension, it's usually the high level players who are watching. So then the high level commentary becomes more important.
Yeah, I think it's notable because we're, like, I guess it's playing to what you tend to want to commentate, which is Ascension events, which means you want that more analytical side. Whereas, like, people who are commentating for, like, those more external events don't need to worry about it as much. But I think it also means that we should be confident in developing our own terminology base, and it doesn't matter if other people don't adopt it because they don't need to for their audiences. So it's fine if we just come up with terms ourselves and develop them.
I agree with that. It's nice to have like that kind of confirmation because so many times I've heard from like Xander else like, we gotta translate from Japanese. I'm like, do we really need to?
Not necessarily. Like, sometimes it's useful because, as Tom said, the moment you define a term, the moment it becomes a bit more useful because you can actually use it in specific contexts to highlight things. But, like, again, it just depends on region playstyles and things that people do, because if it never shows up, then it's not really important.
Yeah. I do think it was funny because when he was asking for terms, like, we don't really have any, but we have the Sussy GTR term.
That's true. I think that's a good one for him to, like, highlight that cultural difference. Like, having a specific example really helped illuminate it for him, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, because I always feel like the hardest part when Tom asks for advice, and then I would consider myself and Fenno the current most experienced and active commentators.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And we try to talk about it, that translation error between we have to be very heavily descriptive versus like base term is very difficult because it doesn't make sense until like you start speaking a lot in English, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Is in the same way, like if I were to start talking in Japanese or Korean in this case, I understand like there is a specific term for each thing. And then that makes sense when I use that language, but it's like really hard when you're not fluent because you just sound weird. Like how people are like, dude, Riley, you have such an American accent when you speak Korean. I'm like, yeah, of course I do because I don't speak it
naturally.
Yeah, or like when Tom and oh god, what's her name? Burner speak in English, and they have to think about what they're saying because you know they don't speak as much.
Yes, totally.
Granted, Tom's English is significantly better than my Korean, so he's still doing a lot really good. Like, and I think he does a good job of figuring out his thoughts pretty quick on a commentating setting to like still be able to say something. But obviously, it's like hard when you're not like native, fluently speaking it all the time because you have to think about how to translate it.
Right, exactly, right. Like you have to think about the individual words instead of just like letting it flow. But that's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's that whole, okay, think in Japanese, or speak in English, think in Japanese, translate to English, speak it in English.
Exactly.
Where that whole, like, learning to speak in English, think in English, or speak in Korean, think in Korean. Like, that gap is really difficult, no matter what age or experience you are in.
No, totally. Exactly, yeah. I think that's accurate.
What else we talked about? I do think explaining the culture difference between the interviews was kind of funny because I wasn't expecting to do that. That was not on my sheet of things I want to talk about, but it just kind of came up. So I was like, well, I guess we'll talk about it.
It was great, yeah. I think that's the sort of thing he's very intrigued about. So it was good that it did come up. Oh my gosh, Riona Dan. This is what Tom needed to see before he left, but it's too late. Oops. Except it's funny because Dan is the least trash talker.
Dan trash talks a bit more recently. Dan's so funny.
It would be funny for like
I love Dan.
The one example that Tom gets live is from Dan, and it's like, actually, this is the guy who usually doesn't.
I would be very happy if a Western player got on the interview and said some shit. And you're just like what I was saying, like, yeah, I was just better, man. Like, what can I say?
That
Like,
would be so
that
funny.
would make me so happy.
Could happen. It could happen. So true, Dan. You would never trash talk.
I certainly would. They should be happy I didn't beat Coop Perry to keep going in that top 16.
Not this time, at least.
I am excited for the overseas and the aggressive gameplay strat, see who we cheese out. Not so excited for that Sega server experience.
Yeah, I know. That's definitely, you know. But we all know it's coming, so best just to do what we can outside of that.
True, but actually, the talk about that was super important because it made me realize that even in Japan, they are not feeling that server issue.
They're not aware of it because it's just not an issue for them.
That'd be so funny if you did that, Dan. I would actually laugh.
Oh my god.
That'd be freaking hilarious. Yeah. But it's good to know, and I'm actually surprised. Maybe because he's just so focused on commentating the match in English and stuff. I would have thought the English or overseas matches where like you can see the stutter.
Yeah, you would think so too.
Would have been like something that you would expect, but I guess because you just so focused on trying to commentate and who knows everything else going on.
That's literally everything about production.
Yeah, like I can see like why that would be missed, but you would think production would be like, hey guys, this looks kind of bad.
Nah, I guess not.
Yeah, but it is good to know. I'm glad that we can get that point across.
Yeah.
Because maybe Top could say something. I don't expect us to make any changes to that, really. Like, at least not immediately. Obviously. It's going to be a question of, is there enough overseas players consistently playing to warrant that kind of change?
Yeah, because the big thing is we don't know what Sega's expectation is when it comes to running this circuit. Like, we don't know what their evaluation criteria is. Like, are we meeting their expectations? Are we exceeding them potentially? Like, it's hard to know, and so we just have to wait and see after this circuit ends, really.
Yeah, because for me, it feels like the expectation is more on C at the moment for Asia games, now that I've like studied up a bit.
Yes, from my understanding, that's the case too.
If we're not the rest of not C, it's kind of like it still feels like test the water territory.
Which I'm fine with if there's not too much pressure on us. And to be honest, they're probably happy with like Ascension's involvement and participation and dedication at the very least. Like, I'm sure they're impressed by people like Hiku. Yeah.
I think we would also probably be surprised that if the idea for the circuit was for more overseas interactment, they're sure as hell not getting it like from C. I hate to say it, like it has kind of fallen flat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there has not been many C's entrants. I cannot speak on the VTuber viewership, but the issue is those viewers are there for the VTuber.
Yeah.
Or like the artist. Like you might hold a percentage of that, maybe like 1%. But if you can't even hold that 1% to come back to the official streams, which you probably don't even know are happening because there's only 4.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very hard to get viewership from that versus viewership from US and France and the other region, I guess, that we are, because there was more of us entering and then like watching like consistently. But they're probably looking for viewers who like tune in for 30 minutes, like the variety of viewers. Like the max number probably isn't going higher, but the amount of people who are cycling probably is. And that's probably what they're looking for.
That makes sense to me too.
All right, what time is it now for you?
1 a.m.
Is it bedtime?
Yeah, I've had a long day, to say the least.
Tournament. 3 tournaments. Extreme conversation.
Yeah.
On such TGM. Oh.
Yeah, commentary. Yeah, literally everything. It's been such a hectic week. Riley, it's not over. Have you seen my Discord event tab? It's just like I have 5,000
What?
things.
God. What else is happening for you? What is? Oh, I did the Haitian League. That's right. I couldn't set up because this month I ended up just being really busy. It was a little sad.
Yeah.
Commentator curse. Oh no, babe. Actually, we'll have. I'm taking a vacation in November, so I can probably play in November.
Yo, Riley's return to Hishachu League in November. I'm looking forward to it because then we have more matches to review, right? Like, and more variety of opponents. It'll be really good for you.
I still have to review my set versus Dan and my one versus Void. I haven't done that yet because I've been doing all the commentary, so I at least have stuff to review now. But yes, I will be in Japan, and I will not be in Japan. So I'm like,
yes,
I'll have 2 weeks to just play 4 matches. I can do that.
You can do whatever you want.
But yeah, I think I will probably also go back to bed because I went. Dude, I was dying yesterday during Copa Luna.
I wasn't sure if you'd be okay because I was like, oh my gosh, Riley got sick though. Like, is he gonna be okay?
I got ass blasted by Naru. I could not focus.
No, that's fair.
I'm surprised it even ended up 5-7 against Naru, honestly, with how I was playing. It was not
maybe
good.
That like your baseline really is raising then.
Maybe, which is nice. I still have to work on my efficiency because I can, God forbid, I build more than an 11 chain in a match. Which, to be fair, the fact I can even build an 11 in a match is fucking surprising after like 6 months.
Big moves are being made. It's good. Yeah. It's good.
So you gotta raise that to like a 12 chain that can do 60k because I won't keep you too long, but like basically my free mecha set was get advantage, still lose main chain by 4,000 points, hope my post chain is better.
Yeah.
Like there was like 3 steps for free mecha was like I just had to main chain the entire time. Like I could not like play neutral.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I'm doing good enough to like force this stuff out, but I just don't have the efficiency to make up that next 5k point deficit of damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I think that's essentially that's the cap when it comes to like mid-level play is around 60k. So if you can exceed that, then you're already like got one thing you can do, which will let you like have advantage, I think. Except when who was it that like 14 chained me in bracket? I don't remember. Somebody did, and I was like, where did that? They 100k'd me. Oh, I think it was Anna. Never mind. She's like high-low, so never mind. Doesn't count as mid-level. Yeah, when I think...
But she also like just randomly just pumps out like a 120k chain. You're like, okay, man, like what was I supposed to be about that?
That's true. But I guess when it comes to like mid-level players, I think if you get 60k plus, then you should usually be good. So that's, I think, like the next objective is to make sure you're always crossing that, well, as much as possible.
Yeah, I think mid-level chain average is probably, I'm gonna say 55k because I feel like
that's true.
Most of the time it's like 50 to 55, and then like the upper mid is like 55, inconsistent 60.
Yes. But you know, shoot high and then hopefully you can exceed.
Yeah, my goal is to just build as many 14 chains as possible, so that way my average is at least 12 chain.
Yeah, that makes sense, exactly, and that's sort of my take on it too.
And I'm probably gonna go back to bed because I slept
enjoy the rest.
For 2 hours after tournament. Woke up at midnight at 12:30 and I was like, fuck. And then went back to bed, so I had to sleep for this for another 4 hours.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Alright, you have a good night, Yoshi. Thanks for having me and for setting this up with Tom.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for like poking me about it in the first place. I'm glad that this sort of like, you know, that gap, that bridge is sort of being created now between our communities. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Tom better be ready for me to just randomly DM him commentary questions.
Hey, I think he'd be more than happy. So yeah, it's good.
I will leave you to your stream.
Sounds good.
Good night.
Good night, man.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, I'm so EP. Yeah, that was good. It's a good chat. Yeah, I got to take more of a backseat with this one, which was pleasant, to be honest. Considering I've had such a big day. So, worked for me, and I hope you all enjoyed yourselves too. I'm gonna pass you guys over to someone who's streaming Puyo, but they have they have like JP and English tags, so maybe they can interact with you guys a little. But even if not, like at least there's more Puyo content, right? Because there's like no one else streaming. Yeah, enjoy the Puyoing. And I will see you all. Oh, they're doing previous Tetris now. Ooh, different from the stream preview. Oh, they're doing free play matches, and they're open to playing match requests. So if you want to play, they're playing on Steam. Feel free to poke them about it, I guess. But yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow for I've got the Hishachi League matches, 2 of them tomorrow. Outside of that, we'll see if I end up streaming, depending on if I'm tired and things like that. Yeah. For now though, as always, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Love you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Good night.